when it comes to creating an offer around poetry, what are the things that you need to be considering that can help you long term to achieve, especially in this case, the financial goals that you may have for your art or poetry business? Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to Arts and Offers. This is the video podcast that's dedicated to looking at that intersection between business and art, especially business and poetry. Today it's just me. Hi guys, my name is Jeff. I am someone who has been actively trying to incorporate poetry into my main business, which is education and teaching. And during that time, I've created several different types of offers and services to students. And there's some that I have found to be more effective than others. And so today, I want to try to kind of talk through some of them. I think that a lot of poets, when they're starting off careers or starting off thinking about business, what can they do in terms of business while tying in their art, I think one of the first places that poets look is teaching and instruction. Education and academia and poetry have been tied together for, a century now at this point, where most people, if they have a job in poetry, you ask them what they do, they're probably going to say something involved in teaching or education, whether they're professors or working with like nonprofits or in schools. I'm trying to bring poetry to younger students as well, which is fine, but there are some disadvantages that come with that, and I've seen it firsthand when I first started teaching, not poetry but language, ESL. One of the things that I did was I traded my time. It was an hourly type job. We were paid by the hour. I was working at a language center, so you're assigned classes to teach and you teach them. And I switched over to just starting my own teaching company. It was just me, and I would find students in the same sort of setup. I would teach students one-on-one, and it was very much the same sort of situation where if I wasn't actually teaching in class, I wasn't getting paid. The nice part about teaching is you can really see the impact that you have on the individual level for the student. The disadvantage that comes with creating a business around teaching is if you're not teaching, you don't get paid. And the other disadvantage is that you're always going to be limited by the amount of people that can be in your classroom. So if you have a one-on-one situation, then you can only get paid when you have that one student. If it's 5 students, then you get paid for those 5 students. But there's always going to be kind of like this cap on your classroom size in general. And so one of the things that I did with my teaching business was I was like, hey, how can I try to reach more people at the same time? And the vehicle that I decided that would be helpful for that was actually starting a YouTube channel. The advantage of the YouTube channel was that instead of just reaching one person every month, I'm literally reaching, at this point, tens of thousands of people. The order of magnitude at which you can have impact is just infinitely greater when you're able to utilize an online platform. But to take this back to our purposes, so if you're an artist that's considering education, for instance, I would say, hey, try to break away as soon as possible from that model that's entirely dependent on you, where if you can't do the work, you can't get paid. So you have to show up physically for that one service. You can even apply this to other areas as well. So for instance, photography. Matthias is usually joining us. Matthias has his photography and videography service. One of the disadvantages that comes with that is that he's the bottleneck. If he's not able to do the shoot, then he's not going to get paid. If he's not able to get the one project out, then he's not going to get paid. So it's limited by your own capacity. When we're creating a business, we want to try I would really say as soon as possible to create some sort of service or some sort of offer that can operate whether we are physically present or not. So what are some other ways that we can then approach it if this one-on-one way or this one-on-5 or, this bottleneck situation is what we're used to or what we've considered doing? This is where other services come to mind. This is where other offers become necessary. So the first one, which if you're a writer, you've probably already considered, is a book. What's the advantage of having a book? A book is something that, whether you're awake, whether you're asleep, whether you're actively pushing it or whether you're taking a pause from the marketing, the book can constantly be there to sell itself or to sell you. The book is always there. People can always find it on Amazon. For instance, I made a pronunciation textbook. Every month I get a couple more orders of that book, and I don't even, mention it a whole lot. It just kind of passively comes in. This is also where starting different social media things can be helpful. So for instance, on YouTube with my main teaching channels, it's bringing in not crazy income right now, but hey, it's an extra $100 a month that I can use, to reinvest in the business or buy some groceries or get some food and things like that. So those social media platforms are constantly bringing things in for me. I don't have to actively think about it. I'm getting views on YouTube, whether I'm awake or whether I'm asleep or whether I'm making a new video or if I just decide, hey, this week I'm not going to make anything. It's still bringing people to me indirectly and directly. Other things that you may be thinking about as well. So for instance, if we think about Matthias's business, so he does, again, photography, videography. This is where, for instance, having a team can also be helpful, which can be kind of scary to hire people, but maybe you could get someone on like a contractual basis. Just a note from a tax perspective, if you pay someone as of this production, if you pay someone, I believe they raised the limit to about $600 or less, you don't have to report that to the IRS. Okay, so $600 or less, again, I'm not a CPA, I can't give financial advice, but that might be something you want to do. Like, hey, maybe I'll bring on a couple of people, I'll train them, I'll teach them how to do it, and then they can do more work for me. So for instance, I could bring on clients, I can kind of be the front facing person, but then I can, task out some of these other assignments or projects. So that way, again, I'm not the one that's actively working on it, but these other people are, and the projects are still getting done to the standards that I'm looking for. So that can be another thing that you can kind of consider there too. Another thing that may be helpful is thinking about what is a way that I can take the classes that I teach and turn it into something that's sustainable even if I'm not there anymore. So for instance, if you teach a class, maybe don't just teach the class, but record yourself teaching the class. And then maybe once you've created enough of those videos of yourself teaching, you could package them together and create some video courses. Or if you have enough video courses, you can even create like an academy. That's something that you see a lot in the ESL space. A lot of your larger companies or even just individuals have created these little academies where you sign up for the academy, you pay a certain amount per month, and then you get access to the video courses that, they've added some more presentations, they've added some workbooks and worksheets and things like that. But they've created this whole package around the workshops and the classes that they've taught. They don't have to teach the class again. It's online. People can register for it. And so that workshop that originally was just a one-off thing now becomes something that can sustain and live online for a longer period of time and impact more people. So that's another sort of pricing model that maybe would be helpful for you. This leads into the next sort of model for projects that I'd be considering is something that's subscription based. So think Netflix, think Hulu. Think about creating something where people pay for access per month to it, and then during that month they can use it, and then when the month expires they can decide, hey, I want to get access for the next month or longer. One thing you may want to consider is people have these subscription rates at different intervals. Like some people have created programs where you pay once a month. Some people go weekly, but something that may be beneficial for you would actually be thinking maybe quarterly. So you pay for like 3 months at a time or 4 months at a time. And that might be something that would make sense. You get people that commit for longer periods of time. So that way you're not having to constantly track like, oh, this person's in, this person's out. If you use programs, for instance, or website builders like Wix or Squarespace, they have abilities to create these sorts of monthly payment options, where you can access certain pages if you pay for the subscription, and then you can provide different sorts of offers there, which is another thing you can think about too. Is with this sort of subscription, what's something that's subscription based around your business that you could offer to people? One thing for Diverses that we've created something called the Substation. The Substation is for people that are interested in submitting to top tier journals. They need feedback on their pieces, but they want to get that feedback without considering the pieces already submitted. One of the issues you see with publishing is that if I post a poem online or on social media, journals and publications view that content as already published. So I can't just keep posting it online. So what you can do in this instance with the community we've created is, because it's private, you have to be a member to access it. Journals aren't able to find the poems. So that way you can take the feedback that we give you in that private space, and then you can polish your poems and then send it out. So people are paying for access to that. But perhaps the best part about it is that it's community centered. So it's not just me that are giving feedback. All the members are posting poems. All the members are posting feedback. So if I'm not able to visit for a couple days, that's okay. People might be drawn to a community that you create because of you, but the driving factor for them staying may not be you. Because people, they're able to post their poems and they're able to get feedback from each other, and it kind of starts taking on a life of its own, whether you're there or not. This is why communities can be really effective as a tool. Hard to create. It's hard to get people to sign up for something that's new to them, that's not part of their routine. There can be some initial suspicion, but if it's something that you're persistent about, gradually over time, it may be something that people become more comfortable with and start interacting with. And the more that happens, the more you can kind of just be in that community not as an observer, but as someone just to kind of check in, facilitate some conversations, but it can kind of do its own thing, and you can let it breathe and see how it grows on its own. So these are the things that I really just hope that you're considering when you're thinking about taking your art or your poetry, whatever it may be, and creating a business around it. Trying to go less from the one-off, less from the, okay, I'm going to write, this piece and it's going to earn this much, and then I have to make another piece and then earn this much, or I'm going to teach this workshop, and then when the workshop's done, then I need to find another workshop, and things like that. These behaviors that are really just kind of one-off situations where you just get paid for the completion. How can we create something that's able to bring in income for us in a way that's regular, predictable, and stable? And how can we do that in a way where we can bring in that income even if we're not being actively involved with it 100% of the time? There's a lot of disadvantages that can come with teaching. How can teaching just be one element? How can education just be one element of what we do? If you guys have other examples of businesses or offers or projects you've done that you felt have been really sustainable for you in helping you not only create art and work with art, but also give you that financial independence in addition to the creative independence, we'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you later on the next episode of Arts and Offers. You guys have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon.